Hello, friends, and welcome to this week's episode of Vibrate Higher. I am your host, Joelle, and today I want to guide you guys through some actionable steps that can elevate any relationship that you have in your life. Romantic relationship, it can improve friendships, strengthen family bonds, and deepening your connection and building harmony with any type of relationship that you really feel like you want to improve and nurture. So I will be walking you through my 3-step formula to a successful relationship. It's so important to nurture the relationships for your personal growth and fulfillment. And we're going to talk about why. So let's dive right in. So I want to go right into my 3 steps. This formula that I'm going to walk you guys through today is one that I teach this in. I do a women's forum called Flourish, and this is a pretty popular topic in my women's group coaching that I do. And so I felt like it was important to bring it to my podcast tribe as well. And I'm hoping that you're going to get something out of it. So I'm going to dive right in to the 3 steps. So these are my 3 steps to a successful relationship. And like I said in the beginning, this doesn't have to just be a romantic relationship. This can be any relationship in your life. Romance, familial, work relationships that you have, relationships with acquaintances like your neighbors or, people that you interact with randomly that you meet. You're at a party and you're at a dinner party and you're talking to people. Just any sort of relationship that you want to nurture. This is a formula that will help you. So let's go right to our steps. Step 1 in the formula to a successful relationship is listen with the same passion that you want to be heard. Listen with the same passion that you want to be heard. So this is about listening to understand versus listening to respond. How many of you listen to respond? I know that prior to me doing a lot of self-development work, I was a huge listener to responder. I was that girl who I'm listening, but I'm only listening to you so that I can tell you why I don't agree with you or why I do agree with you. But I'm not fully taking in everything that you're saying because my attention is on my response. And a lot of times in relationships, we do not listen to people the way that we want to be listened to. And so this step is huge in closing gaps in those relationships that you want to really nurture. Because when you start to do this, you are going to see how this is going to improve your interactions because the person that you are listening to and engaging with will know that you are truly trying to understand what they are saying. And so a lot of times in communication, we're trying to formulate an opinion and prepare a response as opposed to listening to what the person is saying. And when you're busy creating your response in your head or thinking about what you think that they're saying, you are missing out on details. You're missing critical points in whatever that person is saying, regardless of what your opinion is about it. Especially in those relationships where you care about that person or you value that relationship, it is so important to give your undivided attention and be able to actively listen. So just a few tips on what is active listening? How can I actively listen? Active listening is listening to understand. You are actively engaging to understand that person. So what does that look like? It's removing any disbelief. So regardless of what the topic is, whether you agree with it or not, whether you think it's completely stupid or not, or surface or not, or whatever it is that your mind is telling you, remove that disbelief. Openly receive and pay attention to what the other person is saying to you without any preconceived ideas. Because just like you want to be heard, they want to be heard. They have an opinion as well. And you have to allow space for their opinion and let that be what it is without having a preconceived notion about what you think about them because they think that, what you think they are saying. When you're actively listening, you are removing any of that chatter from your brain internally, and you're listening to what they have to say. The goal is to fully understand what is being expressed and allowing that to be what it is. When you have done that, then you can formulate your response once you have heard that person out. And let me tell you, that takes practice because a lot of us, not every one of us, but a lot of us just don't do that. We are so programmed to listen to respond. And so you're not used to giving your undivided attention and actually listening to what the person is saying. I can tell you after doing the work myself, when I actually shut up internally and listen, or shut up externally, meaning I'm not trying to cut the other person off because I want to get my point in so bad. When I actually hush and listen, I understand their point better. And a lot of times that changes what I thought I was going to say back because I am putting myself in the other person's shoes and I am really trying to understand what they're saying. Then I can formulate a response once they're finished. And a lot of times it's different than what I thought, like I just said. And I can then either one, I've learned something, or two, I can formulate what I want to say back in a way that helps them understand it because I can use examples and things that they just gave because I have actually listened to what they're saying. So that step is critical in any relationship. Romantically, especially with men and women, because I am a true believer of men are from Mars, women are from Venus, meaning we communicate differently. We look at things differently. And that's how we were designed to be. And that's perfectly, beautifully designed. But if we are not actively listening, we aren't speaking the same language and we continue to not. When you actively listen, you can merge the language. You can speak to them, the other person, in a way that they understand it. Hopefully you understand my point to step one. Listen with the same passion that you want to be heard. Create a space where you are doing that in all of your relationships, and you will be surprised what you get back on the other end. But it does take practice, guys. I'm not sitting here saying that it's completely easy, but if you truly are about doing this self-development work, you will lean into this and just try it. Be consistent. You will find that you have now trained yourself into truly listening to what the other person is saying. And it makes for such, higher level of communication in your relationships with your family, with your children, your siblings, your spouse, your coworkers. It's a whole new level. And it is amazing when it's done correctly. So step one, listen with the same passion that you want to be heard. Step two, be the energy that you want to attract. That's step two in the formula for a successful relationship. So let's talk about that. I have said this often, and you have probably heard this. We don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. So when you want something to change, and I say this to my clients a lot, when I have people that want to, they're going through a relationship drama and they want to fix the other person. You want to fix your spouse. I want them to change. I want them to do this differently. The best way to change anyone is to change yourself, because you will always attract what you are. Period, point blank, because it's energy. Whatever energy and signal you are emitting, you are going to get back. So if you don't like something about a spouse or a friend, if they're doing something that you don't like consistently, I would challenge you to look within and ask yourself, what am I doing that's similar to this? What am I doing to get this back from that person? That is what I would ask myself. Now, if we're talking about extreme situations and about, like you're being physically abused or, things like that, that's a little bit of a different lane. I am not saying, you're getting abused physically and then you need to look at yourself and be like, what am I doing to make him hit me? That's not what I'm saying at all. That's a whole nother podcast and another topic that you need to seek deeper help for. I'm talking about being the energy you want to attract in most of our normal daily lives. So let's talk through an example of that. I know tons of people, like my friends, loved ones that have had in the past relationships that ended disastrously. Like they just did not work. Divorces, things like that, drama. And every time that they would come to this end in this relationship, it'd be like, I just don't understand. He cheated or he lied or he did this. But in truth, that person, because I know them, they were manipulating, they were lying, they were doing things. All the spouse or the other person, the partner did was mirror that person's energy. If you enter into a relationship trying to manipulate a person, let's just say, I'm just pulling this example out of the air. Let's just say as a woman, you are dating a man because you are, you want money. You want his money. You want him to provide for you. You kind of like gold digger energy, right? So you really know that you don't really love him that much. You're not that attracted to him, but you like what he can provide for you. So you put on this front, like I love you so much, when you really just want him to pay your bills. That's manipulation. So when you get into that relationship with that energy, and then you find out later that he's cheating on you with someone else, or he has 2 or 3 other versions of you that he pays their bills and does these things for, and you're upset. Why? That's the energy you gave. That's the bait you put out. So then you got your match for that. That's the bait. That's the fish you got back. So in relationships, you want to be cognizant of being the energy that you want to attract. So it is so important to be mindful of the type of energy you're bringing to the situation. So if you want a passionate, loving, faithful, loyal partner, ask yourself, am I being those things? Same thing in a friendship. Do I want a friend that is going to push me, call me out on my shit when I'm doing something that is not serving me, that's not healthy? Do I want a friend, or do I want a friend that's going to go along and be like, yay, okay, yeah, girl, go for it, when they know good and well that's not a good decision for me? What type of friend do I want? I have to look at what type of friend I'm being. And I have to be the energy that I want to attract. And then I have to understand that once I am authentically being the energy I want to attract, then I have to be open to understanding when to let people go when things just aren't harmonious anymore. Because that will happen. As you continue to grow and evolve, the people in your life are going to emit that same energy back to you. And if they can't, then they will exit out of your life. And it doesn't always have to be in a dramatic way. There's that old saying, like, people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. That's kind of what that's referring to. We have to be able to let people go, but do it from a place of knowing that you are working on being whole and you are being the person that you want to have, the friend you want to have, the spouse you want to have, the boyfriend you want to have, the lover you want to have, the coworker. You know that you're being that person. Then you can allow people who are not able to match that. You can let them go. And I promise you, it won't hurt as much as you think it does, because you have evolved. And so that energy just doesn't match, and it will seamlessly go away. So that's what I mean by be the energy that you want to attract in your relationships, and be authentic with it. That is the key. We can't just be doing things just so we can get something back, because that's not how the universe works. That's not how energy works. It needs to truly be authentic. And when it's authentic, you will see that you will get authenticity back. So that was step 2, be the energy you want to attract. And the final step, step 3, in the formula to a successful relationship is do not make the other person responsible for how you feel. This is a good one, but it's a big one. And I feel like this could trigger some people, because this goes against the grain of what we have all been taught in a way, because we look to people so conditionally. And we want to look at them and their actions, and then we want to make that be the reason we feel happy or sad. Because you did this, I'm happy. Because you didn't do this, I'm sad. And that does not bode well for relationships of any kind. You want to be a whole person, which means you want to own your power in that no one else's actions should truly dictate how you feel. You should be feeling how you feel no matter what. And when things go on around you, you observe them and you can have an opinion about that. That is not going to make you unhappy. So let's dive into this one a little more, because I know that it's a big one and I want to make sure that everyone understands what I mean by this. So not making the other person responsible for how you feel. Why? Here's the reason why. When you make anyone else responsible for your happiness, they will always at some point let you down. No other human is going to be able to shape shift in it, whichever way the wind blows that day that you need to be happy. It's not their responsibility. That is unfair to put on someone else, that they have to stand on one leg with their hand up this way because today you want this to be happy, and then tomorrow it's going to be this, or next month it's going to be that. You have to be the source of your joy. There's a difference. I think happiness, to me, I associate with conditions. So when this happens, I'm happy, like I'm talking about. When this happens, I'm sad. Joy is something you can choose. That's a vibration. Like my baseline is joy. I am joyful moment by moment, no matter what's happening around me. That's my baseline. Now, I'm not saying things don't happen that are sad. I've lost 2 parents in 2 years. I know grief. I know sadness. Trust me. Okay. So I'm not trying to say that you walk around with these rosy colored glasses and ignore everything around you. Not at all. Not at all. But what I'm saying is, stop living conditionally and let your baseline be joy. Do not let someone else's actions or lack thereof pull you down. Be better, do better, receive better. Then when quote unquote bad things happen to you, you have perspective about them. So if you're in a relationship and your significant other does something, because they will, because we are humans and we are here to learn and grow and evolve. So things will happen. But if my baseline is joy, if I'm not making my significant other responsible for how I feel moment by moment, then when bad stuff happens, I can look at that. I can zoom out from a 30,000 foot view and have perspective on it. So it's not that we don't talk about it. I don't express how I feel about it. We don't communicate. We absolutely do. But I'm going to listen with the same passion I want to be heard when I'm expressing how I feel. And I have now created a space for my partner to do the same. And that space is safe because there's a track record of me not making that person responsible for how I feel. So we can tackle things where we don't see eye to eye from a productive way that ends in a resolve that's actually productive, because there's not the, you did this, you didn't do this. And now, he's speaking Mars language, I'm speaking Venus language, and we're getting nothing accomplished. That is what a lot of people in relationships do, and they think they're communicating and nothing's really being resolved because you are coming at that person as though they're responsible for how you feel. No, you are responsible for how you feel, and you see things as you are. So a part of not making the other person responsible for how you feel is really being unconditional. It's like being able to see things no matter what. I feel good, no matter what the condition is. I feel my baseline is joy. It is so important to find that harmony with yourself, because when you operate from there, guys, you are tapping into a different vibration. You are out of survival mode and dependency mode and victim mode, and you are in creation mode. And from there, you're tapping into your creative gifts. That's where you want to be able to plan things, do things, experience things. Your day-to-day experience improves when you are taking your power back and understanding that no one else is responsible for how you feel but you. Shit will happen around you, but you have complete control of how you react to it. And you do not have to make that anyone else's responsibility but yours. When you are in harmony with yourself and you are operating as a whole person, meaning you understand that no one's responsible for how I feel but me, you are opening yourself up to enhancing your relationships without dependency. So you are able to better serve others from here, be it in your romantic relationship, your familial relationship, even in your work relationships. If you are constantly coming into a work environment with a chip on your shoulder because you don't like who you work for, you and your boss butt heads, when you are able to have perspective about the situation and look at that from a 30,000 foot view, you can better serve in your role. Not again saying that you turn a blind eye to whatever mistreatment is there, but you have perspective about it from a whole space. And from there, you tackle the issue, not from meeting them at whatever petty, rude, mean, whatever level or energy vibration they're on. You're not meeting them there. When you take your power back and you remain responsible and you own responsibility for how you feel every day, then you are able to look at whatever that situation is with your boss in this example, and you're able to deal with it from a place of maturity and grace. And just like we said, in being the energy you want back, you will find that over time, that situation, something will occur, because either that energy, if that other person is not doing the work, if your boss is nowhere near working on themselves and you are, and you're constantly showing up from a place of authenticity and kindness, grace, you will find either that person will change positions. Maybe you'll get moved to another department, another team. You'll take another role, another job will open up. Like it will cease to exist. Not making the other person responsible for how you feel is step 3. And it's huge. And just like I said about listening to understand versus listening to respond, not making the other person responsible for how you feel is a rewire in your brain, and it will take some time, but lean into it. Be consistent with that, and you will see the fruits of your labor. So those are my 3 steps, just to recap them. My 3-step formula to a successful relationship. Step 1 is listen with the same passion that you want to be heard. Step 2, be the energy that you want back. And step 3, don't make the other person responsible for how you feel. It is so important, guys, to create balanced and fulfilling relationships by applying these principles. If you can stick to this and actually try to rewire how you behave and how you look and view your relationships, you will attract better things from the people around you. And if they can't meet you at that space, things will change, and it won't be as hard as you think. And it's not that, let's just say this person is like a parent. It's not that like you'll never talk to your mom again if she doesn't work on herself, but how you interact with her may be different. So if you are always authentic, you're positive, you have rewired how you approach your parent, what you think of them, you put yourself in their shoes, you understand, okay, I understand, my parent didn't understand how to show love, still doesn't understand how to show love. So I can't take this personally and make them responsible for how I feel. Then you interact with them different. And so when you start interacting with them different, then you start to get different from them. And that could mean maybe we do only talk once a month. Maybe we do only text, maybe something about how we move changes, but it will feel better and it will align with what you are putting out in terms of your whatever energy you're emitting to that situation. I really encourage you all to practice these steps going forward and let me know how it works out. I hope all of this gives you a little more insight, and I am excited for you to try these things and let me know how they're going. That is all that I have for you today. I hope that you are vibrating higher now than when you started this episode. I hope now that you have a clear understanding of how to apply these steps to enhance your relationships and create harmonious and fulfilling connections with the people that are around you. My mission with Vibrate Higher, with this podcast, and with my company, Zenergy, is really to help you master your minds and leverage your full potential. And so I'm hoping that you're getting that from this. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, leave a review for this podcast. If you know someone who can benefit from this 3-step formula, please forward this podcast on. Also, make sure to follow me on social media or at Zenergy Group, Zenher Group, on Facebook and on Instagram. I wish you love and light, and I will talk to you all soon.